University of LECUDO USA 30th anniversary and the 2023 convention, here came the D-Day, which was Friday, July 28th, which marked the beginning of the event in Columbus, Ohio, at Bezal Multipurpose Conference Center. First was the football encounter between the WDC versus Ohio chapters of the LECUDO USA, which took place about 3 miles away from the cultural center.
The soccer encounter is between the DC chapter football club versus the Ohio chapter football club and North Boston, as earlier mentioned.
The tournament was aimed at bringing excitement and unity amongst members of the organization. Back at the Bezal Center, invitees and guests were beginning to assemble. People were taking their seats, greeting each other after about a year since the last convention in Boston, Massachusetts. It was
Ghana media is here already.
Yes. From Columbus. New ordained pastor will give it to Edenegi. Mumbai happy and Zere Agabutu them. So Moyo Gatana from Florida. Long drive. So we're happy. We will do convention. The right way.
Convention.
30-year anniversary and convention 2020 LECUDO convention. LECUDO Ohio.
LECUDO USA.
LECUDO USA. Yeah. And USA.
There were people on the grave cooking pork ribs, chicken legs,
and somebody's in charge. And what is that?
Thank you so much, Gaza Media. We are here in Ohio hosting the 30th anniversary of LECUDO. LECUDO USA.
And you are the chef in the kitchen?
Yes. I think everything is going quite well.
Except...
No. Everything that is still right now. No, we don't yet have it, but it's coming.
Okay.
Yes.
Some members, especially those from out of states, were a bit discontented for the late start, and the blame were all pointing to the Ohio chapter.
So far with this occasion.
Yeah, well, so far what we see, the ambience here is amazing, and we know more are still to come. We're here today to celebrate the 30th year of LECUDO USA, which marks a milestone that many organizations do not make it. Some die within 2 years, but we are talking 30 years. So we are really happy, and we are here to tell the people that LECUDO USA means business. Okay. And a lot more is still to come.
Thank you. Don't wait a lot of time for Jackson. That's a custodian of the culture.
Okay.
I think I will be right. Yes. So for the WDC.
Yes.
Then go your impression so far.
Well, even Kobe did some. That Kobe didn't. The occasion where you must not prepare every like in it, but lateness and I'm talking quantity. Can boom with the Kago, but we've been moving 10 but we've been friends at a sentence in I with Ohio to we don't want time after we make sure they go 10 o'clock. We don't want it there for. And Ohio, prepared and but we stand I'm going from the on time. No, we are on time because the main event I will match Saturday.
All right.
Stand down Gaza media. I'm good. Abum bong everything. You get the film good. His Royal Highness Foncha. As someone knows your book, the baby will come to move over and boom ready. I receive every other bank before they may.
Okay. You won't come to the job?
Yeah.
It's Manuela Temtrek.
And you are here for?
We are here for 30 years anniversary of LECUDO.
Okay.
Yeah.
LECUDO USA. Dear viewer, as you know, the time has always been an issue when it comes to the PLM community in general. We were supposed to start this program. The traditional down was supposed to start at 6 o'clock. It's already an hour late.
I am come to Moses. So the event is going very nicely. I like the way it has been organized. So even though it's taking late, but I know that more people will come very soon, and we start very soon.
Okay.
From Cameroon, from Cuba, and
Impressions so far?
the impressions, as usual, I'm complaining about late coming.
And you are the chief information officer, assistant chief information officer. Is it right?
Correct.
Yes. Is it right that you're coming late every time?
It's not good, and we advocated this. We talk about this in the executive forum, in all our meetings, in all our planning meetings, and we had really emphasized that this convention needs to really set a tone on standing on time.
All the
So I'm
executive
feeling a
members
little
are
bit
there.
disappointed.
All the executive members are here.
Yes, they are just doing things up and down, but it's only the attendance.
One thing is that they are waiting for the phone.
No, they cannot wait for the phone because they should be seated and even be doing something
Before the phone
comes in. The phone is not the one to come and dance, no.
Now, this message, the blame now goes to who right now?
It goes to the sons and daughters who think that because they come from Africa, they have to behave with the so-called African time. Meanwhile, they don't go to work late.
Because this is 20 minutes late.
Meanwhile, they were at 5. So we are 3 hours behind already. And this is the same thing that they are going to carry forward to tomorrow.
And therefore means that we may not be able to cover
all the it's a long program. And if we start like this, I don't know at what time we'll leave here today. And if we leave here very late, people will use it as a pretext to be late tomorrow. Meanwhile, even if there was no today, they will still come late tomorrow. I don't know, there's something. Because I need to say this in the dialect because it's very difficult to express things like it's a curse.
I got here at 3:30. I'm disappointed with the timekeeping.
So, can you say to our people when it comes to time?
I always hear about Cameroon time, but I want to remind our people that we are not in Cameroon. And I think we should keep the time. Let's not set an occasion for 5 if we know it will start at 7. If we do that, we keep deceiving people. So if we really know the occasion is going to start at 7, let's say 7. Let's not have anything called Cameroon time. That's my view.
And if this should happen tomorrow, the fundamental issues that we're talking about project, we're talking about finances. I mean, if this happened tomorrow,
that would be bad. Even today, the program was charged. We are about 3 or 4 hours behind. If we do that tomorrow, that would be terrible. It means that the 30th anniversary has not accomplished its goals. And I think let's keep away that idea of Cameroon time. Let's set realistic goals so that people know that 5 o'clock is 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. I left Wisconsin very early and I was able to get here. I was one of the first to get here. You had come and gone. I called the CEO and a few other people and they were still on the road. So that idea of late coming is not good. We need to discourage that in our community so that people should really come early and come on time to occasions. It's only through that we can achieve our goals.
I will be in touch as the occasion unfolds. We are still waiting for the traditional dances. The fund is not yet here.
The fund had indicated that he wanted to come. He was really ready to get here around 4. But they told him the crowd was not yet here. And that's why he has not yet come. For him, he's been really, really prompt. He has many things to do. Yesterday he was busy. Today he is busy. Tomorrow he'll be busy. Let's support him. He's come from Cameroon to support us. Let's support him too. He appreciates what LECUDO USA is doing. And I think if we are not able to respect our time, that will really be bad.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you too for talking to me.
Even though some attribute the late start due to shower of rain on the early hour of the afternoon, it seems not to be a good excuse because by 6 p.m. there was no more rain.
Savoir que parmi vous il y a des étrangers. Oui, je suis Bafoussam natif. Je parle français.
Est-ce que vous avez les collègues de l'EBIALEM?
Oui, j'ai beaucoup d'amis à l'EBIALEM. Monsieur Sylvestre Moigne, Monsieur Valentin. J'ai beaucoup d'amis de l'EBIALEM. Oui, et beaucoup de jeunes avec qui nous travaillons ensemble. À l'instar de Christian Gifo, de Roland Athènes.
Si vous voulez, vous pouvez me dire dans quel arrondissement que vient d'où le Cameroun?
Je suis Bamileke,
from the Seven Boys.
Je suis
Kemtembo Fominka from the Seven Boys.
J'ai grandi à Bafoussam.
As number
Et après, les affaires m'ont amené à Yaoundé, où j'ai passé pratiquement une trentaine d'années avant de me retrouver ici aux États-Unis, à Columbus particulièrement.
Donc, merci beaucoup.
La propre femme.
Also, a personal friend. Me and Kamalabang. I'm looking what we change and they'll cover what we do.
Yeah, His Majesty Fonjumata was very Muzaza and Fonjumata and Chilium. Moment, swore and Mubelaba. I think we also for we book at Fimbo, both at the Fimbo, who go to a single good as a for. So, just as it, the German woman having one month like a blue as a for. Thank you.
While waiting, people started eating and drinking. The music was on, kids were playing, people were chatting, the ambience was on. For the first time in the history of LECUDO USA, the cultural jamboree was taking place outside like at Amazi. Gaza media was streaming live. People were watching from all over the world, even in the Bangfondong. Indeed, this was the celebration of the 30th anniversary like never before. Then His Majesty Fontem Asabatong arrived with his entourage and was ushered to his seat by his notable while chanting was going on. In fact, this was the Bang culture in America, and one could even have the feeling that they were in the village and not in America. It was so beautiful.
His Majesty, you are welcome to USA for the LECUDO convention. We want to welcome you.
Thank you very much.
America!
Few announcements were made by the CEO, Atem Terence, the man behind almost everything that was happening.
Go faster. So on sente be members executive, be members board, be convention chairs. Bonyem alle forbe be introduce agap and our importance. Just to move fast. Board chair. So board chair will be over. Mr. Sonny Akwarambo, head of the board. Board secretary of board. Mr. Gerald Asson, chairman anniversary of board. Financial secretary of board. He won Dentano Cap alle record. Sente Mobo Yaken Capse Gavenza, Nchegi le fee, because 10 caps Mobo, Alorana Alonjo. Treasurer Agwo, Egi Abon Kabafan, India Zabe Beke Kabando. Mani, Fondi Ugo Gresela, Aba Assistant Secretary General, Vice CEO Ugo, Moyi assistant directly. Advisor Ugo. Uncle Joe, Afganda, one of the advisors. Egi Dumabo, Ebungwa, Bezet Bia, who work 24 hours. The Chegu, Banqueta for 1 year, last Sylvester, I was one of the advisors. Tony, what can I say? So, Uncle Tony, Tony Asom, Babios, Anu Magazine, I want Nando, Mbundetele, and then Professor Kemji, veteran, Nefu America, you want Nanya no LECUDO, Ale convention, so. And then
the president of LECUDO, Ohio, about being presented by the vice president on the occasion of LECUDO Convention 2023 and 30th anniversary celebration. His Majesty, the Father of Fontaine, the Royal Highnesses President, the Kamala, the Marfos, the President, President of LECUDO USA. We want to acknowledge the representatives of Sisters Development Association here present, representatives of villages in Lebanon, invited guests, sons and daughters from Lebanon. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an immense pleasure for me and my dear Lebanon sons and daughters in Ohio to wholeheartedly welcome you here in Columbus. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us. Today we celebrate the 30th anniversary of LECUDO, instituted in 1993 by His Majesty Fontaine Jifo. We are proud to be the host, to be able to host it here in Columbus, Ohio, at this wonderful place, Bazaar Center, with all of you. And we want to thank God Almighty for the wonderful weather.
Then the MC took over the microphone and the rest of the activity began to unfold, including the traditional dances and the children talent display. Top of the dance was the Aluachaba Fontem, the masculine dance, the dance of the strength, the dance for special people in the community, and the dance only owned by His Majesty and Befonte. Come and see His man.
Dear viewers of Gaza Media, good morning to everyone. Today is Sunday, the 10th of November. We want to welcome everyone here on board again. This is our weekly program, The Voice, while we wait for our guest or our regular contributor to come online so that we can dive into some of the issue affecting our community. The footages that you have been watching, it was the 30th anniversary celebration of the LECUDO USA that happened in Columbus in 2023. So that was a cultural jamboree, the BLM cultural heritage. So I will keep you watching those footages in memory while we wait for our audience to come on board. Again, this is The Voice, where you say your mind, but you must say the truth. Again, this is Ernest Kumba for Gaza Media.
Majesty display. Even our camera could not capture his move completely. It was something to witness for yourself. I almost forgot that I was carrying a camera when the central drummer played a particular pattern. Everyone was up. The traditional dance was at the climax. The Belem Lebang, the spirit of Lebang, were invoked. This is Lebang culture in Columbus, Ohio, United States of America. Okay, dear viewers, again, good morning once more. This is our regular weekly program that we want to educate the community, community engagement. What does it really mean? So I will bring in our CEO Emeritus, who is our regular contributor. He has a ton of experience when it comes to community engagement, capacity building, bringing community, educating community, their rights, what they're supposed to do, the kind of education, the training that they're supposed to do to engage or to develop a rural community. And we today will be focusing on most of the activities that are taking place in the BLM, particularly to Lebang people. Let me bring in Mr. Atem Terence to the platform right now. Let me take out this one. Yeah, the CEO Emeritus. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning, Director. Thank you for having
Yeah.
me.
Yes. When I was just watching this clip, that was 2 years ago. You
Right.
put all of this together. Yeah.
Right.
And at the same time, before we even talk to that, I don't know if our audience can see, I'm using the magazine, the Anumbong.
Right.
That started, I think it started during your tenure.
Right.
One
Right.
was
Yeah.
yes, and
We
the
started
biggest
it.
one was yes, and the bigger one was in Columbus where I was there.
Right.
Documenting Leban cultural heritage in the print form. So,
Right. And
do you want to?
advertising businesses too.
And
Advertising of
advertising businesses too.
yeah.
Yeah, I see. I think it's something that we really need to maybe take some time, not today, but go through it and really see a lot of because the writing, the pictures, the colorful nature of it, easy to read kind of magazine that I really want that if you are from Lebang or if you want to know the cultural heritage of Lebang people, then Anumbong magazine. And I think this was the July 2023 edition of this publication. So you can grab this copy and you have a lot.
Right.
talk
In
about.
Gaza media, sorry not to, but just to
Yes, go
talk a
ahead.
little bit, Uncle Tony, Bratoni Asong, and Professor Kemji, kudos to them. They actually came up with this idea, and Uncle Tony was an advisor, and it's still an advisor for LECUDO USA, a very strong one, of course. And Professor John Kemji has been with LECUDO for a long time, and they brought these ideas. We took it to heart and made it happen. And there's always this criticism of us, Black people, that we just do not document. That if you want to hide if you want to hide money, put it inside a book. People will not read. So that's another challenge that we face, right?
Yeah.
We bring these ideas to fruition. This magazine was developed, but the question is, I had a hard time trying to measure. I like monitor evaluation. I like to evaluate
Yeah.
impact.
Mm-hmm.
Try to
Yeah,
measure
to really see how much is
people
impacting the community.
right. How are people reading it? And somehow I really was, I was worried. And if we're able to progress as Bangwa people, as Africans, knowledge needs to be transferred. There needs to be knowledge transfer. And one of the ways that people can gain and be aware and be sensitized, be educated, self-education about what is happening around them is by reading publications like this that people have taken their time and put them together. So hopefully, we'll find ways to mitigate that. And I think I'm also working privately on some of those ways to mitigate problems, challenges like this.
Yeah, and just to fast forward to publication like this and the website. To I think you also launched the website for the LECUDO USA
Exactly.
during the
We did a lot
most
of
recent
projects.
convention.
I don't
Yeah.
even know where to start. A lot of projects.
So yeah, that's why, dear viewers, when we say we have a lot to unpackage, just that the time is always limited. When we sit here, every time we want to educate our community, there's so much that you can talk about. But Terence, let's focus today on the role of local community organization in development, because through my reporting, when we are talking about local community or cultural community organization in development to their community, to me, in my opinion, they seem, even though few individuals are doing well or are really engaging, but sometimes I think that there is that lack of engagement from most of these cultural and community organizations. I will cite you example. I want this to be an open discussion between the two of us, even though I'm the host, but because when I've looked at certain project going on in community, that you expected that the VDA, that we call them Village Development Organization, should take an active engagement. They have failed, hopefully. I will start with Mbindia Health Center, that we got the report of renovation or rehabilitation. That Mbindia VDA were never involved, and even up to now, they are still not actually engaged to the extent that people expected to see the outcome. You move forward to the other health center at which is located at Mwenchen Fosom. That was built around 2014 up to that time and left it halfway. Whatever happened, the community has never been able to really say, let's put out some report, let's make some progress. It appears like they don't know what to do or they are ill-informed. I mean, the list is long. You move on to Ndungwe, there's another hospital over there. Many projects that Nkelebang now seem to be talking about all of this community. It appears that when this project come in, the community is not there to actively say, okay, what is going on here? Let's monitor it. Let's report to some competent authority if something is not going on right. Or let us engage whoever is responsible and say, okay, what are you doing here? How can we be of help? How can we solve this? And to crown it all, Terence, there was a communique Bambembu Ele to Nkelebang Forum where they said there was some kind of insecurity risk to the current bridge and Dungwe. When he made that announcement that he has got information from the mayor, some reaction were not very to my opinion, were not very appealing. When people make statement as, before the person took the contract, he knew what he was getting himself into. All we want to see is our contract. We want to see our road. Now, the question I ask myself is, when we are talking about community engagement, what are we really saying? If we are that community and a contractor come in to construct do some work for us, this contractor will do this work and leave. The bridge will remain there, the hospital or whatever will remain there. Instead of us to say, hey, what is the challenges? Who are giving this trade? Let's find out who is this and make sure that this work is done. People throw words like that left and right as if it's none of their business. Then now, do they really know what they are doing, or they are just saying it for saying sake, or is lack of ignorance, or whatever the situation may be? So this is where I want us to begin to focus on. Then, to crown it, to finish my monologue, what would be an alternative if the VDA, the community organization, the cultural community organization, are not able to do it? Could we have some independent non-profit organization that are independently managed, that they are able to produce some better result? We saw I cover the Mbonwe Foundation or Mbonwe NGO,
Right.
where they were able, at the heart of the crisis, they were able to partner with different international organizations and even with LECDA, Liberian Culture and Development Association here in the US, that was funded by, under the leadership of Professor Ndemanu, to actually issue birth certificate to children from the BLM to be able to go to school. They provided pot, mattresses, and everything. We follow up that reporting. Fast forward, we also saw the bright future during the last term holiday. That's just about 4 months ago, from June to September. What they were able to do in Menji, pulling the crowd together, sponsoring the cup competition, the health reach out, and many other activities booming the economy. These are independent non-profit organizations. We can still call them, they are community organizations, but they're independently managed. Now, when I want to draw the contrast between the two, that is where I have the dilemma. What are cultural organizations managed by the entire community doing compared to these independently managed community organizations like local NGOs or local non-profit organizations? So this is where I want us to focus our attention. What is it? Education, engagement, training, etc., etc. Terence,
Yes.
you have a ton of experience. You have a
Right.
ton of experience,
Right.
before even coming to the.
Yes. So, as you know, when I left the university, I went back and started working in Fontem. And I worked in Fontem for about 5-6 years, and then got my scholarship to from the Smithsonian Research Center in Virginia by the U.S. government to come do project management and research. So we call it R&D, research and development. Okay, that used to be my field of focus. And so I think the advantage I have is that experience, because I work with the BLM delegation of agriculture, where I was serving as a volunteer, but as a subject matter specialist for agroforestry, because I did botany, I did plant biology in the University of Chang. Dr. Kumba, you remember our days in Chang, those rough days. So,
No.
and then I also did conservation, and I was kind of polyvalent because every conservation projects that we did, I had to mirror development into it, an integrated approach. So because of it, I work in the whole BLM, and that's why I have this huge network that I can activate anytime. But the thing I want to drive home, it's that community-based system, right? Community-driven projects that are to virtualize projects as community-driven projects, because now the challenge, as you say, for the role of local or community organizations in development, one of the big challenges that I it keeps haunting me. It's really the way the local community perceives projects, right? And I did a training by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and DFID, which is British Department for International Development. 6 months training in Cameroon. And they always told us that we need to, when we go into a community, we need to educate them first. Awareness creation, sensitization, education, because that is how you empower the community. And and one key thing I always remember is the difference between rights versus favor. A lot of communities think that someone is coming to do them a favor. That when a project is coming to their project area, it's a favor. No, it is a right. So if the community begins to see this as this is their right, this is their thing, right? They are supposed to have this, right? And they don't take it like, oh, somebody is coming to give you a favor. If they, it's their responsibility to get it done and all of that. So I think
And
it
and
has.
let me not cut you short. And this is where I had a pushback, even though it was not on the media like right now, when I stated in one of my reporting that uh I didn't been there reporting when I said uh the health worker, right, the nurse that was sent there, I said this nurse is coming to help the community. I had a lot of pushback that I shouldn't be saying I'm for the community. Why should I be saying this person? They are being paid. I told them, my brother, if the nurse is being paid, being sponsored, sometimes the Kudu has sponsored community health workers, either by a non-profit organization, the government, or whoever, so long as that person come to the community, right? That person is coming to do you a favor. And it is up to you to say, hey, how can I help you better the situation so that it can help me too? But if you think that, oh, it's a government worker, they are here for their money. So why should I care?
This is the other thing too, and I don't blame our community. I don't blame even presidents of these local or community organizations, even in the diaspora. Dr. Ernest, you need to acknowledge that most of our elections are really not based on skills, the skill set, whether those taking these leadership positions have the skill set. And also, how many people have done the type of work that I did in Cameroon? I mean, to be honest, to be fair, go look at our organizations. How many people can have the grasp that I have with, with the local communities, right? So you also have to be a little sympathetic to the leadership of these groups and organizations because they really don't know, and you cannot. Sometimes also,
But I
it's
think
hard
no,
to
they
deliver
really
what
don't know. Yes,
you know.
no. Let's assume that they really don't know. Are they willing to learn?
No,
Are they
that's where
willing
I'm
to engage?
driving to. That is where I'm driving to because I'm always solution oriented. I'm not one
Yeah.
person. I'm one of those people. I don't like people who point at problems, but I'm always behind the scenes thinking, okay, this is a problem. How can we solve it? So the point I want to make first is that the local community needs to understand that all projects in the modern project implementation framework always has to take into consideration the role of the beneficiary community. And they always impute in that project design, right? That the community has to contribute. It's no longer that system, that those olden days system. Even government projects today, you want to write a proposal and ask for a hospital. The government requires you, right? Any government, even in Cameroon, they require you, they want to see community contribution. And the community being there is saying, oh, the nurse gets paid. They do not understand that in whatever document was submitted to the Ministry of Health to create this integrated health center or health center, whoever submitted that proposal and recommendation had to put there that the community will contribute. And that contribution, first of all, is facilitating the role of that government agent, right? The community has to do it. That government agent is, you can say, oh, they are getting paid. Hey, if you don't facilitate it, this thing that's supposed to benefit you will not get completed. Who loses? It's not the government, it's the local community. So I think part of it is that we need to educate the community to begin to know that any project coming to your area has been input there in as part of the project design, that you as a community, there are things that you have to do. And a lot of times the communities do not know. They think, and part of the
and that's one. And I wonder if you are an expert that you know how to write this project and follow the formula or the guideline stipulated by the government. Like you are saying that if you have to put, or you have to say, oh, this is 20% or 30% of the work will be done by the community, maybe clearing the hospital, keeping the surrounding clean, protecting the equipment, that's no robbery, or providing local security, watchdog, whatever it may be. You need to find a way to educate the community. But Terence, this is what I'm saying, that our local community organization, they have failed.
And now they have failed, and they didn't start failing today. They said they have been failing for a long time. And part of it is that, let me also say this, in our NGO business, when you go to ask for money somewhere, accountability, it's a very big deal, right? Impact assessment is a big deal. Monitoring, it's a big deal. Evaluation is a big deal. These are not concepts that really are taken seriously by community-based by community organizations, right? The local community development groups. If I come now to them, I come to say in JA, I say, look, you're doing this project. We have Inspire Bright Futures. We have the capacity, we have the knowledge, we have the skills. Give us a small stipend so that we can do monitor evaluation for this project, right? And that's one thing that it's not being done, but it's a big deal. And we say, okay, you can just provide us a small amount of money and we'll do this. Look at what happens first. It's a good return on your investment, because if you put in 5 million on a project or 20 million and that project, it's not well done, that investment has gone down the drain. And you can see projects upon projects upon projects in our local communities, they go down the drain. Sometimes they are completed, but you know what? It's not just about completing a project, right? What people see might look like successful, but when you begin to now do your evaluation,
And
right?
you
And
see
look
that
at each
maintenance
component of
and
the
the
project
rest.
or the building, you realize that probably the foundation, it's not even solid. There are things that were supposed to be done to keep this project sustainable. It was not well done. The other thing is, monitor evaluation allows you to do iterations. So even the government gave you a project and said you should do it this way. Through monitor evaluation, that is continuous, and I will add the word continuous monitor evaluation, because that it's key, right? It's not just coming to the end to monitor or to evaluate. That's the old system. The new system, it has to be continuous, because now projects can iterate. You can change projects and make adjustments as you go, right? It's an agile process, as they say. So if you're building and you realize that, oh, there's something that was not well designed, you can iterate it, you can make adjustments, right? So that across the project cycle, there is room for, changes, not, strategic changes, not major changes, because any major change, you must go back to the project, the person who gave you the project.
May require sponsor
Right.
adjustment with so many factors.
Right. So we have to really change the paradigm. And I think what I am also trying to do post my my role as LECUDO USA CEO, is to build that system with Inspire Bright Futures, to fill gaps, right? Where these organizations really don't know what they're doing or they lack the capacity, we would be able to build capacity. Where they don't know what they're doing and lack the capacity, we'll be able to strengthen the organizations. And in some cases, we'll come in, look at the organization structure and say, look, these organizations that were created 30 years ago. I mean, let's be honest here. I'm in the IT business, right? I'm an innovator, and the world is moving very fast. The idea that institutions were created 30, 40, 50 years ago, 25 years ago, and they want to operate the same way, that is ludicrous. That is part of the problem. And you can see, like from LECUDO, you see LECUDO was created in Cameroon, was created about 30, 40 years ago. And they are not catching up with where we are today. And that's a problem. When you have rigidity with structure and operations, failure, then stagnation results from that. The world is moving fast. Innovation is now. Anybody who does not adjust is going to die. I mean, that is really
and,
the way.
and that is
You
and
know,
that's why true, especially when the everything now is driven by technology. You say
amen.
something now, the next minute, a second, it's already somewhere else. It's unlike back in the days where you write a paper might take months for people to even realize that you have done something. If something you don't do, you say, oh, you want to do this, you don't do it. The next minute, everybody knows whether you did it or you did not.
Thank you. And accountability, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the IT business, and social media in our field, in our parlance, is decentralization of information, right? Um, Even though a caveat, a spoiler alert, I'll tell you, we say decentralization, information decentralization, but it's not really so, because Mark Zuckerberg and your brother Elon Musk, they can manipulate information. They can determine what information goes out. So,
Oh.
but the general concept is to be able to allow everybody to communicate, to have information at the speed of light, right? And to express themselves. Freedom of expression, right? I mean, we understand their boundaries. They has to be
Yeah.
regulated.
Mhm.
But you can see how the world is changing. You can sit in Cameroon and you say, oh, there's corruption. There can be corruption in a chapter in Cameroon. There can be embezzlement, mismanagement. You might think people don't know. But that information, members are in that meeting, as they're holding a meeting in Limbe, they're holding a meeting in Boye, and they're having serious conversations about their money, where their money went to. Those same members in that meeting are pushing information out, right?
Yeah.
They are even recording those meetings, and people
Mm.
don't know. And they have all this evidence. Information is moving. You can't hide anymore. So you have to do your thing straight, right? And I think that is part of the transformation, changes that needs to happen to make these organizations really make sense, right? In
and I,
terms of
and
transparency,
that's
accountability.
why we are really calling on. It seems it's unfortunate. I would say unfortunate that we don't have a lot of local non-governmental organization in our community. Like when I look at other countries or some other community, you see the tons of what you go to the Kenya, you see Tanzania. There's a lot of local NGOs. I'm not talking about this cultural, kind of begin to fake up with this cultural
Mhm,
kind of organization,
mhm.
right? Sometimes you request information, they don't even want to share to you.
Correct.
But the thing is, when it's time to raise money,
Yep. Yep.
everybody know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when it comes to say, show me what you have done with that
What
money.
you did with the
Oh,
money.
yeah, no, it's private information. It wasn't private information when we were asking for money.
Yes. No, I understand. Now, for all intensive purposes, every organization has information that they need to keep. Need to guard, because
Mhm.
the other flip side of this is that, um, and we learn this with information management. If you put certain information also out, people tend to weaponize it when they lack knowledge, because when you put things on social media, it's usually kind of not a face-to-face engagement where,
Mhm.
if you present a report, somebody has a question, you can answer that question and it makes sense. Now, when you drop things on social media, somebody will need picking. Somebody will go and pick something that they see it in their own way, and then they will start a whole thread of trouble, and they are misinformed. They don't even give room for you to come and answer their question. They take and then they drive the algorithm and they just blackmail the organization. So I understand that part, but basic transparency is required where you do a project and you come and show people the product that this is what
Exactly.
you did.
No, that's what I was
Right?
really referring to.
Yeah.
Like, say, for example, the road construction or the bridge or the building of water catchment or anything.
Yeah.
Then these are basic things. If you raise 5,000, 10,000 US dollars, right? I want to go and build a small catchment here that will cost this amount.
Yeah.
Then if you build and water is flowing, you show images. Nobody really cares how much money you spend, how much was left. I mean, things like that. If you say, okay, out of the 5,000, I spent 4,500. People see water flowing, people will be contented, right?
Yeah,
And
because that was the goal, right? That was
yes,
the
that was the
goal.
goal.
The final goal, it's deliver the product and deliver
Exactly.
a quality product, and that will be sustainable. I will add. It needs to be sustainable. Don't
Sustainable,
deliver
yes,
a project
exactly.
where the water flows today
No, we're not.
for
No, we're
2
not.
months, and you
Yes,
come and show videos and water is
or the
flowing.
light comes today, and
Yeah.
tomorrow there's no light any longer.
No, that is not a project. You didn't deliver
That's
a
not a
product.
project. Yes.
You
Yeah,
know.
that's what we're referring to. That I mean, people really need to be serious. At least, dear viewer, we really need to begin to engage our community. That this is what we want, and this is where we are going. And then one other thing that you see that you measure the strength of this community organization. People measure their strength or their power by how much money they are able to raise here and keep it in the bank in the US.
Thank you.
That has been an issue that
Right.
I begin to handle with some of these organizations. You come and stand in the public, you raise money. I want to go and do XYZ. But the next couple of months, the year come by, you have not done anything.
So
Then you
let me.
expect that people to follow.
You see, that is something I'm very passionate about. If you notice what I did when I was in SWEZA, Citizen Exodus Association, as a Secretary General, and really the frontline person doing a lot of the projects, there was transformation. When I took J, if you remember, there was transformation. And when I took LECUDO, there was transformation because there is this thing that used to be in these organizations in the diaspora. You are glorified for how much money you raised and stored in the bank in America. And nobody's asking, nobody was questioning themselves. You took this money to go implement, to go solve a problem. Has that problem been solved?
Solved.
And I've told people, any development organization, even by law, as a non-profit, you're not supposed to raise money and put in the bank. By law, by American law, you go to the donors, you raise money for a specific purpose, and you have a time frame that project has to be realized or that action needs to be taken. They're actionable items, they're deliverables. It's not to take money from people and put in banks in America, and they're using that money to do their business while our people at home are suffering. Now, that's the first problem. The second problem is we seem to be hyper focused on home. Yeah, we have the responsibility and kind of obligation, as people might say, due to our heritage, to help our people back home. But Dr. Kumba, let me ask you, this idea of you going to help others when you cannot help yourself, how sustainable it is? And that is what people begin to see in organizations, that a lot of people lose hope. They don't contribute in America. I came into LECUDO, I wanted to empower, I wanted to do the STEM project. If you remember, I said, I want LECUDO to be, we would like LECUDO, my leadership team, our executive, we wanted LECUDO to be a dual-facing organization where we are not just focusing in Cameroon, we are also focusing in the United States. We are focusing on our members. We are focusing on our own community. Because whether we like it or not, Dr. Kumba, you and I, our children, they are here to stay. The American citizens, this is home for them. We need to get over this thing where people think, oh, they say home, home, home. Yeah, Home is back in the BLM in Fontem. Home is it's primarily where you stay, right? And just ask yourself, just visualize a little bit. When I came in, I said, look, we want to empower our kids. We have to take care of our kids because these kids will be the ones to continue LECUDO tomorrow and be able to head back home. If now they are not seeing LECUDO standing with them shoulder to shoulder today, do you really think that these kids would have anything good to talk about LECUDO? What did LECUDO do in their lives when they were growing up, right? So I brought in a proposal and mobilized Lebanc professors in the United States who are head of departments, have labs, and I said, let's organize a STEM summer enrichment program, science, technology, engineering, and math program for these high schoolers, so that it can serve to them as internship, more strengthening, right? So that they can be able to outcompete their Asian peers, American peers, when they apply for college, because then the application is showing how they spent an internship in Professor Fondong's lab and did research, right? They spent an internship with Dr. Kokobe Fonkem on cancer research. They spent an internship with Professor Zengung at Georgia Tech, right? Doing environmental engineering, chemical engineering. Think about it. Just think about it. And you come with a proposal like this. I'm trying to zero into something, get down to something where you see the problem with some of our community organizations, why it's very difficult. And you come with this proposal to a General Assembly, they endorse it. And you go to the board, they just refuse. They say they're not approving it. And you sit there and you ask yourself, how can we grow as a community? You are only thinking about yourself as an adult. The idea of continuity, sustainability, it's taken out of question. These kids and these youths, they are going to be the ones to continue whatever you and I are doing here today. Whether we like it or not, by nature, you and I are going to fade, we're going to die. And any idea that does not continue, it's really not a good idea.
And that is the reason why, if you look at the current state of the Kudu today, right?
Yeah.
I believe even in other many organizations, children born in the United States, they are already getting married.
Thank you.
I mean, the generation that would came, even though our own kid, my kid are still small, your own kid are still really smaller, below 20. But you see, like, there are people here in town or in this US that their kids are already married and some are already becoming grandparents.
Yeah, some of those kids.
None of these kids is in the Kudu.
Yeah. You know why? You people come to LECUDO, you come to LECUDO, and the problem is change management. We call it change management. I know managing change, it's also a craft.
It's a whole other thing.
It's a whole
and that's why you see now we only depend on, you see, the Kudu only depend on those of us that came from Cameroon. And even then, the recent exodus, American by road, right?
Yeah.
They are not over-engaged the way that we used to. I mean, I've seen it. Some
but
are
you
there.
know why? Let's not just identify the problem, right? But let's start by identifying the problem. Part of my challenge in all these organizations that I've managed has been the unwillingness to accept change.
Exactly. Yeah.
I came to an organization, I took JA. Look at what I did with JA. We did with JA. I came in, I brought in activities for kids. Every convention, we're doing traditional dance competition for kids. We brought in talent show. We brought in fashion show. All these kids who have talent had the opportunity to come and show their talent. And we give them, do you know what? Do you know how much I used to give them? I would just bring a certificate of participation and attach a $10 gift card. And these kids will be like, wow. Up to today, these kids are calling me, they say, President, when are we going to still have that competition? So the point I'm making is involvement. You need to involve all the participants, all the community, the different groups, right, within the community, get them involved. Really get them involved. Don't have this thing where you people think because you are the adults, Lekudu belongs to you. No, Lekudu does not belong to
No,
you.
yeah.
Lekudu belongs to that future generation, right? And they too have needs. They have a voice. Offer them the opportunity to have a voice. I am telling you, if you look at if you were able to bring these young people to Lekudu, right? It would be they would transfer these people, these kids. You say, oh, they are kids, they are youth, they are this college, they're in college. If you know the ideas that they have, my daughter, who it's, she's 13-year-old, she's in college 3 years ahead of time. If you see how, if you want her to produce a talk like Gaza Media, like if you see what she's able to produce, you would be amazed. Their ideas are, they are far ahead of us, right?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, some of these kids, they have, skills that are just hidden. That sometimes you just need to tap into it and say, hey, do this. You see the pick up, they begin to do it, you will stand here and begin to. One thing is, let's relinquish the power or whatever we are holding on to.
Yeah. Let's do decentralization in its real sense, right? Decentralization also means, you see, like when I came to Lekudu, when I came in, I created committees, right? And committees, you share the power. Just learn how to be shared. Just learn to say, you know what, you just want to do good. Whoever has the best idea should put it on the table. Be very open-minded and allow everybody to participate, but also make sure that you protect the organization and protect the vulnerable, so that when they are talking, when they stand up to talk or they have their own points, let them protect them to have the platform. Because that's if you see what I do in Lekudu, right? I keep Lekudu Forum sane, out of politics, and so that when it comes to development and culture, people are free. That's a safe space for them to talk. Because once you start bringing politics into the platform, on the platform, it turns a lot of people off. People think, what is their focus? And there is another problem for us. We just do not follow rules. We come from Cameroon and Africa, where there are no rules. Everybody drives whatever. But you come now to the Western world. It's a rule-based society. If Lekudu has a non-profit status, they have been given authorization to operate as a tax-exempt organization, charitable organization, and they are focused on culture and development. Why do you want to come to the forum and start bringing things that do not fall within, the purpose of Lekudu? I mean, people just have to learn these things, and then when we now try to educate them and regulate them, people get angry, and sometimes even the leadership. You have somebody in leadership coming to post whatever they want to post. Come on, and you sit there and you ask yourself, do they do this at their jobs? If you go at their work and you're a computer and you have to produce, no, you don't go and start doing something else. The job will
No,
fire
are
you.
you even allowed to go to social media in the first place while I work?
So you
Okay,
and I
now
are talking. We'll not just talk about community. We'll talk about community. The role of community organizations.
community,
As,
yes.
in development. Development begins with a change in mindset,
Man.
right? What if you notice what we're able to do is we're able to change our people's mindset with Lekudu during our time, and things that people said they were impossible, we made people to believe that it's possible, and you see people are doing it, right? We do every project,
Yes.
we get money from people, we report, people see what their money did, and we submit a report to the committee, submit a report to us, then we submit that report to the board, or we submit it to the appropriate authorities, right? And there was a transparency, accountability. There was also outreach. I do a lot of course. You see when that money comes in, people don't understand, but it's because I take personal initiative to reach out to people and do micro targeting and education.
And Terence, talking about individual, that means individual commitment as well. And this would drive me to this last but not the least very important discussion. Why are people not really committed? During the recent health campaign, Dr. Michel, our most doctor in the, he made this statement. So he was pointing at the parent there that you have your own children in the US that they don't belong to the Kudu. They are not contributing, but you come here to benefit for free. He's referring to, I paraphrased it yesterday and posted it on the forum,
Yeah.
that we are here, that we sons and daughters of the Bang and the BLM are here, that we, our parent or our relative, uncles, aunties are benefiting from this health screening. But we sit here, we are not contributing. Is that fair? That man termed it as witchcraft. I mean, you could have put it any better than any other person. I mean, you saw the passion, you saw the frustration in his eye.
Yes, and as you also know, I brought in the doctor, Dr. Michel, when Mary Health did not have a medical doctor, and I would personally continue to thank the couple that gave us money to be able to do other things in addition to take care of Dr. Michel's salary every year till 2026. And that couple that gave us the first year last year $28,000 to handle a few things in healthcare. As you talk about commitment, the reason I'm saying this is trying to show you commitment, right?
Mhm.
How a single
Some few
Lebanon
individuals.
somebody would, his wife, I went to them, and I said, this is a problem. We really need to solve it. And they asked me, Terence, what is the possibility? Do you have a possible solution? I say, yeah. And I take the solution that we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. And they say, you know what? We cannot sit like this. And God has blessed us a little bit, and we allow the bank to fail. Healthcare, if some people are not healthy, they cannot live. They cannot do development. They cannot do anything else. And this couple provided us this money. And these are people, they don't even want you to call their names. So that is a type of commitment that is required, right, from our people. Anybody can help in their little way. We know people fingers are not the same, but the question is, can you do the bare minimum? And I think the bare minimum is paying your annual development dues. Because as Dr. Michel aptly put it, it is witchcraft to say, and I know families, I know people here, I know people in Cameroon, I know who has contributed money, who has not. And during the health campaign, I am there in Cameroon at the health campaign site, and I see mothers for people I know. I see their sisters, their brothers, their uncles. They come to the hospital with a serious problem, and we had to do surgery. Okay? We had to do surgery. A surgery that is cost, that if they had to go pay somewhere else, they will spend around 300,000 to 400,000. We do it for free. And I look at their daughter in America, their cousin, their sister, or their brother has not paid development dues. And they're right here in Maryland, right? They're in Ohio, they're Boston, they're in Texas. And I sit here, I said, they were no balance. And I said, the world, and I said, life, to be honest with you, life is not fair. And I see how much, Dr. Kuba, do you know how much we, living in America, abandon our families, abandon our jobs, and we go to Cameroon to help. And you are going there to help somebody whose relative, who it's well to do here, has not even contributed a dime, right, to facilitate that help.
I think that is where, and that is the kind of frustration. That is the frustration that I think when this guy was speaking, I was like, it appeared that this man lived in the US before. Does he know what we are doing inside internally within the Kudu? This is a stranger. This is a different person.
No, but he hears about the population of Lebanese people in the diaspora and even in the cities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he hears how much we are raising for the health campaign, and then we're trying to, there are things we want to do, we cannot do because we don't have enough money. And he sits there, he's from Congo. Dr. Michel is from Congo, Kinshasa. Think about it. And you want to talk about community commitment. When I was looking for a medical doctor, do you know how many Leban sons and daughters are medical doctors? When we advertise it, how many people applied? Everybody disappeared. Now, Dr. Michel, who is a foreigner, accepts that job in spite of the race. After he has accepted the job, and he's doing his job. I started having all these inboxes. Oh, CEO, are you people looking for a second doctor? I am available. This. Now they start saying that we're paying Dr. Michelle averagely well. You start seeing now that the Lebang and the BLM doctors, sons and daughters, who had the opportunity and refused to go rescue their people, they are trying to catch up because now a little bit of envy, right?
Yeah, that is exactly who we are.
Somebody else has gonna open the forest. Oh, now you want to come in, and you start bringing all this noise, and then and they'll come and bring they will bring criticism. They will get their agents, family members to start say, oh, you see, Doctor Michelle like this, and I say, you know what? And I ask, and you know me, I'm as straight as a knife,
Yeah.
and I take it on them. I say, you can go to hell. Please don't even dare. You know, yeah. So
I mean, I really hope
commitment.
that our people are listening to this. Like you said, the fingers are not the same bed. Give the little, contribute the bare minimum. Do make a change. I mean, you are doing well for yourself and stuff like that. Continue to. I mean, because sometimes when you look at the images that our people, you just like wondering. I mean, if you can just sacrifice $100 a year, how much is it when you divide that by 12 to have a month?
And the other thing too is that the other thing is I also worry that a lot of people only want to help if they see directly exactly that it will benefit their person, right? So they don't give this money, they don't even realize that there is a potential for someone they know and they care about who is so dear to them to benefit. But because they are in this egocentric mode where they are thinking, now which my person self go benefit, that they send them money, me they go hospital now. They do not understand that sometimes their mommy were there for boya. Even though you say money me go hospital, but that money need to solve a problem they all. As that mommy yes say her campaign they come for this thing. And belek is if we are one could be America if we are. That mommy wants to go and feel the touch of a
Gosh.
white doctor, of an American doctor. And Dr. Kumba, I have seen that be a therapy. A lot of these people who have chronic
The healing, yeah.
they come and I see how psychologically they feel healed.
No, that's what we call
Our
in medical
medical
field
doctors.
the placebo effect, right?
Right,
I mean, there has been tons of research and publication about the placebo
right.
effect, the touch, the
Yeah,
therapeutic touch.
yeah.
That social interaction with somebody that, I mean, we can sit here talks a lot better. I really think that our community should actually begin to learn and need to find way. It's not about raising money and keeping here in the US. I mean, we can talk more, especially like I know the bishop is coming. What is LECUDO doing? What is LECUDO National in Cameroon? I think we'll handle that one next week. There's always a ton that we can discuss about, but I really want to appreciate your coming and your contribution to Gaza Media to keep our community informed and some of the knowledge or some of the things that I believe they did not know. They are listening so that they can learn some of these key and better manage their VDA or their community organization as well.
Yeah, so Dr. Kumba, just since you're
Mhm.
wrapping up, I
Yeah.
think people can trust that we're going to find solutions to this. We're going to help our community, our LBLM community, Lebang LBLM community, find solutions to this, right? So we're building an organization, Inspire Bright Futures, in a way that we can do a lot of capacity building. We can do a lot of strengthening for organizations, institutional strengthening. We can do all these trainings to make sure that people have the basic skills to know what they're supposed to do. We can also help do monitoring and evaluation. And we're going to be doing a lot of new things. We're going to be injecting a lot of new dynamics into our that space, right? The BLM development space. And we would only beg that people should be open-minded and community groups. should understand that would be there to help them perform better, get a better reward from the fundraisings that they do, their development dues. Um, so we're going to create more opportunities for these organizations to function better. We're going to facilitate their job in terms of implementation of projects. We're going to help them do a lot of supervision, oversight, capacity building, and training, but also in terms of inspiration. And you can see what we did. Our first project was trying to get Citizen to reopen. You can go back home and ask every single person. I am the architect of Citizen reopening, the reopening of Citizen that I started 3 years ago. And without a doubt, you can see that when we started advertising that students should register, parents should register their kids to go to Citizen, early on before June, people did not want to register. Once we came up with this idea, Inspire Bright Futures came up with this idea of the holiday tournament, soccer tournament in Citizen, and we implemented it in Citizen for 2 months, and people saw what they saw. People then believed that, okay, truly they can register their kids in Citizen. And that is how we're able to get almost 200 students registered in Citizen. So they are proof of concepts, right? And these things, they are, and I would also encourage the bank people to understand that they are subject matter experts, specialists, because there's this tendency for anybody to come and say they know. No, it doesn't work like that. I mean, you and I in the developed world, when Congress wants to have a hearing, they call people who know the subject matter, who can inform them more, can educate them more for them to make a decision, right? So people should be open and allow us, to bring in expertise, right? We hire up, yes, finding the right people. And a lot of people in the United States, just so that you know, a lot of people with talent, skills, they are going to be in our board of directors, right? To help shape how things are going. So it's still going to be us. People need to understand. As I always say, we have to be responsible for our destiny. The idea to think that somebody in Yaoundé, somebody somewhere has to help us succeed, develop, I think it's an outdated approach. We ourselves would have to help our place recover, especially during this time of reconstruction. The other thing is we want to continue. We will come and help people to be transparent and accountable for the collections that they get. That's another thing we help these organizations to do, right? A reporting system. But again, it will not be a centralized reporting system. That is really an old. People like decentralization because each group is unique, and you really want them to operate as a unique this thing. Because when you take the same system and shove it through people's throats, that doesn't work. I can tell people it's more of an adaptive approach. So Inspire Bright Futures, people are going to see, even those who are in the board, they're going to be fascinated. We are top. We don't want to come in and do, it's not mediocrity here. The people that will hire to be volunteers on the ground, they're going to be top. So we're going to provide services and help the place and complement whatever our local groups are doing, build their capacity, strengthen them. And in some cases, even we're going to help with reformation and integration, but also do it in a way that there's unity across the board. And you can see there is a need for the diaspora organizations to be fully integrated with the local organizations in the village and the national organizations in Cameroon. That is somewhere I see it's not working well. And when you have too much bureaucracy, you really don't have good productivity. So if we can,
Yes, and that's where I was, and that tied back to my monologue when I was saying that there's some form of disconnect that the local community do not know exactly. Maybe they are right, like you stated earlier, or they think that somebody is doing a favor, but it will have like independent non-profit organization that can come in. Even when this project comes in from the government, you step in and say, hey, this thing is going on here. What are you people sitting at home doing? This is your thing. you educate them, you inform them, you hold seminar, those kind of stuff.
And we're
Then I
also going
think
to
that
do
will,
surveys, right?
yeah.
Surveys. When when you do a project, if you can elicit feedback, you can do surveys. Right? We have social media, we have WhatsApp. You can generate a survey monkey this thing or use Quatrix and send a set of questions. Make it short. 30 seconds, that the burden of completing the survey can just be 1 minute. And you use that to get the local people and see how they feel. So that data can help you now to advise the organization to do better when they are identifying the next need or putting
Yeah.
together the next project, right? So we're going to elicit, do feedback, whether it's positive or
Yes,
negative.
so you give them some good recommendation on where
Correct.
to handle most of their project and follow up. Terence, I want to thank you again. I wish you a wonderful Sunday, and thank you for coming. Until we'll see you again next week for this very useful, important program at The Voice.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Dear viewer, we have finally come to the end of this segment, and that was the CEO Emeritus, Mr. Atem Terence, he's also the head of the Bright Future, which is a non-profit organization, as he was explaining what the role that they can play, that we have already seen some of the activities and the result. And I think it will be a very useful local organization, alternatively, not really alternatively, but that will try to bridge the gap to really connect the local people to most of these international organizations to actually assist in implementation and follow up project and evaluation as well. Again, I want to give a shout out to everyone that has been listening to Gaza Media. Let me leave you with this music or with this cultural entertainment again from last.